Tokunbo Wahab. He is a special advisor on education to Lagos State government. Don't worry, he's not talking about Edo elections. He's going to talk about the resumption of schools as has been announced by Lagos. Well, 2 days. First, we do have September 21. They're working to ensure that the others do come in. Mr. Wahab, thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, I know you must have heard about some concerns that parents have about letting their children go to school, how they are going to cope, particularly those who have got to make use of the public transportation system to school and back home. What are your thoughts? What would you tell those who are that concerned about it?
Thank you, Chamberlain. Good morning, Nigerians. Basically, Chamberlain, we're at a point where scientifically we've been proven to have flattened the curve, and it invariably means that we are not as exposed as we used to be some 5, 4, 3 months back. So consequently, we have to find a way to bring our lives back to normal. And in doing that, education is very critical to whatever we're going to do. The past few weeks, we've been putting in place measures and facilities that will enable our children come back to school. And even at that, what we seek to do from next week is to start a phased reopening of our tertiary institutions. Chamberlain, on the 14th, we have announced that our tertiary institutions are going to open to our students for the first time after 6 months. In the interim, in 6 months, we've also ensured that Lagos State and Lagos tertiary institutions are their students learning through the LMS platform provided by NVivo, which means that whilst at home, they were doing their programs, they were having their lectures, and those lectures never stopped. So invariably, what they're going to come to do on campus is have their revision one-on-one, and then they can now have their exams and their certification as per their projects. Now, for our tertiary from on the 14th, we're going to start with the final year students across our tertiary institutions. With those final year students, we are sure that they are older, they are more matured. They're going to come back to meet up with the protocol as put in place by the institutions based on the regulations of NCDC. And after we have phased them out, maybe after their exams, then those that are in the penultimate year will come on campus. So we're not going to put all our students on campus at the same time. Now, for our secondary, from the 21st, they're also going to have a phased resumption. As you are all aware, those in the SS3 classes now, writing their final exams, are going to finish their exams this week.
Oh, goodness. Okay, seems to have lost him for a bit, but hoping to get that back. But I was going to ask him, look, things change so quick and fast. Look at the States, for instance. This spiked in tertiary institutions, and then there was huge concern. In UK at the moment, they're planning to no gathering more than 6 in the days ahead. So if those were to be the case, what are we learning from those scenarios as they change so quick?
And what have we even learned from the safe reopening of schools? You know, I mean, senior secondary school students reopened, and you know how many people were actually infected as a result of that. Well, we have him back. I know that the federal government asks states to conduct risk assessments. As you land on that thought just before we lost the connection, what did the state find regarding risk assessments? Did you visit the schools? What did you find?
Thank you very much. We have our Office of Education Quality Assurance, and we visited all the schools, all the schools in the state, both private, where we have about 18,000 private schools, and then our public schools are 8,634. So we visited all the schools, and then we took assessment of all the schools, their needs assessments. And in the past few weeks, we have put in place requirements that would enable us bring them back to school. Water, their wash and basins, soap, and all the things that are required to be put in place, even as we speak. They have also been required to go online and register if you meet the basic requirements, and you'll be licensed and given the go-ahead to go and open. Even at that, we're not going to allow all of them come back to school at the same time. It will be phased to the extent that on the 21st, we're going to open our primary schools, yes. And we've made that clear to the parents. Those in primary 6 are going to be promoted to GS using their assessments, while those in SS2 and SS1 will come back to school first. Then we observe and see how it goes for a few weeks before we now bring back those in GSS3, GSS2, and GSS1. So it's going to be a phased resumption.
Now, it's also interesting that you have mentioned the tiers, the other tiers of those classes, because the challenge is in the number of the schools, the number of students in the schools and the number of students in each class. And since it is phased, let's hope that that's been dealt with. But this protocol that you talked about, did it also factor in the fact that there are children that have special needs, children who themselves are in, dire conditions that could be vulnerable to this COVID-19, no matter what class they are?
Yes. We factor them in. And to a large extent, we had also made plans for them the way we do for our regular students across the states.
Yes. What are the plans that you have lined up for those students with special needs, as you talked about, those ones with special health conditions?
For most of them, when they have a way of coming to campus or coming to schools, supported by maybe parents or a colleague of theirs, they are given a special place to sit down, write their exams. Maybe they are impaired by way of sight. Their grade will be there. They have to go to the regular protocol of regular check, and then the regular test, and then rinse your hand, wear your face mask before you even admitted in. And then the person helping you do that will have to go to the same protocol. And they'll be admitted to our schools.
All right, then, talking about Wahab, thank you for talking to us. We just do hope everything turns out well.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
All right.